To understand the mechanical construction of Michael E. Cantrall's The Lighthouse, we must first experience the environment it creates. "Death upon these teeth," she winked and forewarned. "Beware," the anchors whispered. "There's rust down below." Through the jagged narrows and frosty mist, freeze was the feel from the keel to the tip. A frigid fog-smothered kiss from Charybdis, and shipyard elegies for the ghosts far below. These be the foam-laced shores of Scylla's shoal, where the abyss yawns wide for wrecks in the wash. Red life is chilled near a widow's candle, enticed by a siren's hungry shores. Ne'er ignore the shine of a spectre's wave adieu. These currents in fathomless blue do want you. Here where the devil's toothpick casts its ray, a place where those of the sea steer away. Transition to analytical tone. We can identify the specific technical framework that produces this environment by looking at the composition of the text. The Lighthouse operates as a study in formal subversion. The text uses structural ambiguity to maintain its hold on the reader. In literary theory, the sublime is the synthesis of awe and terror. This poem pursues that synthesis by placing human fragility against the immense power of the ocean. The author curates Elizabethan, Gothic, and Romantic diction to ground the reader in a historical aesthetic spanning the 17th through the 19th centuries. Understanding the poem requires looking past the surface maritime narrative to examine its mechanics as a modified sonnet. The poem's architecture follows a 14-line structure, organized into 2 quatrains and a sestet. It rejects traditional end rhymes, relying instead on internal rhythm to drive the reader. This structure builds toward the volta, or the turn, arriving at line 9. The first 8 lines focus on external, physical maritime threats. The language catalogues jagged narrows, freezing mist, and rust. The reference to Charybdis illustrates these tangible dangers. The sailors face a literal monster capable of destroying their vessel. After the volta at line 9, the poem shifts focus toward internal and psychological vulnerabilities, moving from physical shipwrecks to the specters of the mind. Removing the rhyme and sharpening this turn transforms the traditional sonnet format into a vehicle for Gothic dread. The auditory experience is built through a heavy concentration of fricative and sibilant consonants. Phrases like frosty mist and frigid fog-smothered kiss utilize recurring F, S, and SH sounds. These consonant choices mimic the physical sounds of sea spray and whispering anchors, forcing the reader to recreate the environment while reading. The poem's metaphorical imagery further anchors the scene, specifically the use of the phrase widow's candle. Historically, sailors used widow's candle as an idiom for a lighthouse, recognizing that the light often marked where men were lost to the sea. These phonetic and rhetorical choices force a subconscious experience of the physical environment described in the text. The author's revision history from 2025 provides a map of the aesthetic intent behind the language. In line 10, the author shifted the orthography from the modern siren to the historical siren. This spelling choice anchors the poem in the Gothic traditions of the 17th and 18th centuries, rather than modern fantasy. We can also track the evolution of the final line. The author tested several verbs, including stay away, fly away, and steal away. The final choice, steer away, reinforces the theme of maritime navigation while emphasizing a deliberate sense of avoidance. The poem's atmosphere is a constructed aesthetic, achieved through historical and phonetic curation. This construction allows for intentional interpretive plurality, where a text supports multiple meanings simultaneously. The ambiguity regarding the narrator's identity is a direct result of the structural and diction choices made by the author. To maintain the effect of the sublime, the text must remain open to different interpretations. The poem supports 3 academic interpretations. The first is a literal, supernatural reading, where a ghost warns vessels of physical destruction. The mention of rust down below and shipwrecks in the wash provides evidence for this direct maritime warning. The second interpretation frames the text as a sailor's lament.
This reading shifts the focus to a living subject, enduring psychological terror in isolation. The line, "Red life is chilled," supports the idea of a living human subject facing extreme maritime hazards. The third reading treats the lighthouse and sea as psychological metaphors for human relationships. In this reading, ignoring a specter's wave represents an allegory for ignoring internal warnings or destructive interpersonal forces. These three interpretations overlap, creating a complex web of meaning that rewards analysis. The Lighthouse succeeds because its 14-line structure and historical vocabulary mirror the isolation of its subject. Through precise editorial choices, the text forces an encounter with the terrifying aspects of the sublime. Literary terror remains effective because the text offers no definitive resolution to the abyss it describes.